with a Good evening, everyone. Before I hand over to the chair of tonight's meeting, I remind everyone here in the room we are now live streaming. I'd like to request that all participants wait until being invited to speak by the chair. If you wish to speak, please raise your hand. Once invited to speak, please speak. Please attach your contribution by stating your name. It will help the mics lock in on the primary speaker and thereby maximise the sound quality for those watching at home. If you are watching at home and wish to participate in tonight's meeting, please turn your video on. If you're just observing, please turn your video off. And if actively speaking, all those watching the meeting via Teams should have their mics muted. Members of the public are reminded that public participation is for questions only. Comments, suggestions or representation may be made at the discretion of the chair of the meeting. In case of a fire evacuation, the fire point is the marketplace. For this evening, there will be no fire drills. I'll hand over to tonight's chair, Councillor Jo Westwood.
Hello everyone, good evening. Welcome to this evening's meeting of Community Parliament. My apologies. I can't make up I'm hot and cold. I'm just going to take my card going off. Lovely. So first things first, any apologies?
Councillor Callums was substituted by Councillor A. Westwood.
Any declarations of interest? Yes.
Friends of Gifford Surgery.
Not on the agenda, so you don't need to have it. To receive the minutes of item 3. Any questions on the minutes? We've obviously put one forward just to say that I didn't vote on the Mushroom Food and Road Festival. Anything else from anybody else? Lovely. Do I have a proposer? Lovely. Do you want to take Safia's proposer and Reese's seconder? All those in favour of accepting the minutes? Very much. Just sign them. I will get you in 2 seconds. I'm sorry. I'll do the legal stuff first. What's the date today? Thanks.
Hey, babes.
Like an echo there, wasn't it? Lovely. Yes. Item 4, public participation. 2 lovely people in the room. Who would like to speak first? Are you speaking together or?
No, we are colleagues.
That's fine. If you just state who you are for the microphones, just so it can be picked up, that'd be really helpful.
Okay. Right. So we have a chef that will be helping us on the day for around about an hour and a half, doing all the food, cooking, prepping, supervising. We have people that are qualified with the various hygiene things that they need to do. We'll be doing an in-depth risk assessment for it as well, because we understand there were some concerns about call-outs and so on. So what we'll be doing is looking at things like fire drills, flood drills, whatever. So we'll be doing that. We understand that the kitchens at the moment are not able to be used. we have an alternative and we can actually hay box the food over properly because we have the equipment, or have access to the equipment to do that. And we reckon we need about 25 volunteers. On the quiet, we've already got 15. When we put the word out, we think we're going to have the volunteers to do it. And we just think it'd be a lovely thing to do for the community on Christmas Day. You know, for those people that, you know, find Christmas a hard time, we think it'd be a really nice thing to do. So what we'd really like, and I think we need an answer quite quickly, a yes or a no, whether we can go ahead with it. Because obviously we're at a certain stage of that planning. And then if we can't go any further, if we don't know if we've got the venue or not. So
Do you want me
anything you'd like to add?
to I need to say?
Well, just to say that we have run events before. So we've worked with the council before on the toy drive last Christmas when we launched, and also on the grotto. We also did a meal for 60 people at the Shine Club. We also did the same with the Rainbow Club Day Centre. So we did the VE Day event, which I think some people might have been at. So we have got, been building experience. Sarah, which a lot of you know, she's run about 200 events. You know, I've run events. We've got quite a mixed amount of skills and experience on our board. So I think we've easily got the skills to deliver this.
We also understand that there is a fee for using it as well. We're just wondering if there's a discount for a charity.
Do you want me to come on this one?
Yeah.
So I think
If not, we'll sort the grant out.
I think there's a few things to talk about that. So firstly, I think it's a lovely idea. I do want to be really clear about this. I think it's a really fabulous idea. I think, you know, Melksham have been missing something on Christmas Day since it was stopped by the church. There are just 2 points that I need to point out. Firstly, actual use of the hall is an operational decision. The council, as an entity, can't gift it to you. So it has to be an operational decision. So that will be down to the senior team in the assembly hall.
Yeah.
Like any other booking would come through, it's an operational decision. So we don't really get involved in whether or not you can or cannot use the hall.
Okay.
In terms of you using it, it would have to be a grant that comes through to us. Now the grant process, it is December, was when we'll make the decision, but I'm not sure. Closing date is the 30th of October to apply for grant. Sorry, September. It's something we do fairly regularly, is give out grants for people to use the hall. It's not uncommon at all for us to do that. The reason we have to say for you to apply for a grant is obviously we have to be fair to every community.
Absolutely no problem with that at all.
Yeah, so, you know, we give out quite a fair number of grants. So I would really like you, once you've had the conversation with sort of the council staff on what's going to happen going forward, please bring the grants.
Who do we speak to? Because up to now, I think we've been under the impression that it's the councillors that make the
No, so councillors don't make operational decisions. We make strategic decisions. It's a bit confusing, and I get it.
If it helps, I want to be really transparent about the conversations we're having as officers. Okay. So hiring the facility in terms of that process, Councillor Westbrook's right, go through the grants process in terms of being able to go for funding for the fee for the hall. In terms of leading up to officers' time can help in whatever way you need that. In terms of the hall on Christmas Day, the bit that I'm trying to figure out is there will have to be a member of staff that rightly so will be on call because there is a booking. So if there's an incident of any capacity, somebody's going to have to be available. And the conversations we're having on which officers are going to be around on Christmas Day and that don't already have their own family plans, and we're trying to figure that out for us. So we can have councillors opening up the building if councillors are willing to, because it has to be somebody on our books. But operationally, there has to be an officer that's available if there's an accident, an incident, electricity, etc. So it's a slightly wider conversation that I'm having.
How likely is that to be agreed, that somebody would do that?
You know what, it's really tricky. I am having conversations with officers. Some officers can't commit because they've already got their own family plans. So I am continuing to have those conversations. I know you need a decision as soon as possible on it. But I would just say you just need to slightly bear with me while I try and figure that. And I will be upfront and honest with you as I possibly can.
Oh, thank you for that.
No, you're fine. I don't want you to hide behind anything, but what I've also got to balance is all the community wants and needs against also employees wanting Christmas Day with their own families.
Yes.
So as you can imagine, I'm in a tricky position. I want to try and resolve both. Whether I can do that, I don't know. But I do understand you need a quick decision to be able to
Otherwise, we're just going to have to go ahead and make our own
complete.
alternative
I
arrangements.
know it's difficult, but is there any way we can put a deadline on? And we can potentially say this is a definite yes or no.
Well, the right thing to do is for me to have further discussions with the facilities manager at the Assembly Hall, who is currently away on annual leave for 2 weeks. So if you can give me a 2-week deadline, because I need to include him because it's his responsibility as well, I can certainly come back to you.
Could we say end of September to be realistic in it, or is that too late? I'm just wanting to be really.
That's really pushing the envelope.
No, I'm just trying to be really realistic to give both.
So do we need to put in an application then for a booking?
So
We put it in that because we'd rather do things.
I would do two things. I would put application with all the details to the Assembly Hall, go through that process. I would also, rightly so, do your application for the grant. And remember, it doesn't just have to be for the Assembly Hall, because what you're asking for is to a community project. You could go for some additional funding as well if there's anything that you feel that you need meets the criteria.
Okay, thank you.
Please put that in. And all you need, what I would do is just stating there estimates of how many Melksham town residents are going to be attending, because that will be important. Otherwise, the new community development officer will ask you for that information anyway. As soon as the facilities manager comes back, I will have another conversation with him.
Okay, but in the meantime, we talk to the ops people anyway.
He's on leave, so that's what I'm saying.
So it's just him.
Organisation.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Okay.
he's out.
Didn't we actually have his name?
Yeah.
Brian Bennett. Okay, so in terms of the project itself, we think it's utterly wonderful. It's the logistics around it.
Okay, so someone on our board has got a long career of health and safety in councils, so he'll go. But
The insurance side of things, to make sure you've got somebody on staff. It's really difficult. And we know, do you know what? We'd love to be able to say, please just have it, do it. It's a wonderful idea, but we will be strung up by our own people if we just do it, unfortunately.
fair enough.
Because it is a wonderful idea and I do commend you for doing it. Is there anything else you'd like to, is there any council who've got any questions? Yeah, Matt?
I'm working Christmas Day, could I not do it? I could open up locker.
It's not, you can volunteer by all means, it has to be a member of staff, because obviously the staff are the kind of the people who hold. It's in case there's an electrical fault, but by all means, volunteer.
You know, when you said there's a council could open up and I could
think-
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've discussed with the facilities manager in terms of training councillors to open and close the building, and we trust councillors to do that. It's more about if there's a member of staff that can be around for that period. What hours are you thinking of running it? Is it an all day? What's your timings?
Well, it's really.
It's Christmas lunch, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really a lunch. So I'd say with all the prep and stuff that we need to do, probably around about 4 hours.
4 hours in total.
Yeah.
Would you try and do it earlier in the lunch so that maybe we could convince or potentially convince?
Well, I mean,
We could
that's
definitely
it.
afternoon.
That is a possibility. And if we have to do that, I think that's a conversation we can have
Okay.
to do that. But we'd also like you guys involved as well. So, so we don't just want to go off and, we want community, we want the council involved as well. So it'd be great.
Gillian, sorry, did you want to come in?
I think the plan is 12 until 2 for lunch
Okay,
and some prep 2 hours before.
and then a bit of time operation to tidy it up.
You need another hour after saying it.
And we'd probably, if it's not being used on, on Christmas Eve, if there was maybe chance of like bringing stuff there and stuff.
I think they're conversations that could be had, aren't they? Anything that
More
more do to kind of mitigate the amount of time that an officer maybe has to be on call, because they won't necessarily be around. So if we can mitigate the amount of time the officers and everything may be on call, all those sorts of things will help. But as I said, I think there's a little bit of confusion with the fact that it would be an operational decision rather than a council decision. But please do put in that grant. Please do put in grant funding for more things, because I think the council would be really keen.
All right. So we're going to say hard stop 30th of September then, yeah?
I think that's a fair date,
Yeah,
isn't it?
absolutely.
Yeah.
And if I can get a decision before that, I will.
That'd be great, yeah.
That's the hard, that's a go, no go.
All right. Thank you for your time.
You're very, very welcome.
You don't have to stay to hear the rest of it, but you are of course more than welcome to.
Oh, it's okay.
Okay.
Think about it.
Lovely, thanks everybody. So, item number 5, which has a lot of sub-items, community development report. Before we do this, I'm just going to formally introduce our lovely new community development officer.
Community officer.
Couldn't remember the title. I'm going to hand over to Ian. You don't have to speak if you don't want to, but you're more than welcome to just introduce yourself.
Well, my name's Ian. I've spent the last decade or so doing nothing but community work unpaid in Westbury. I've got a bit of experience in the world of councils. I was a councillor there for 9 years myself. And finding it very interesting and looking forward to working with you.
So, have we all had a chance to read the report? I'm going to go through each one individually. We won't read the report, but I'll just name each one individually. If anyone has anything they'd like to raise, we'll raise it like usual. So the first thing is support for Active Wiltshire's Doorstep Club. I'm not older to say than I wanted it to be. Anyone got anything to say on that one? I just want to say I'm really happy that Methuen Park's been used for something. I don't know, does everyone know where Methuen Park is?
Yeah.
I'd expect you to know. It's your ward.
Yeah,
Do you know where it is? It's in a really odd location, Methuen Park. So it's do you know where the Forest Community Centre is? So so if you go to the far end of Forest Community Centre, there's an allotment. On the other side of the allotment is actually Methuen Park. So you access it through Methuen Avenue, which is off. Well, it's off Little John, or it's off Audrey, depending on which end you want to come at it. And it's a park that we are responsible for, but it's actually a privately owned, but we have ownership for it. We lease it. We have responsibility for it. We essentially lease it. I believe the lease is up, and it will be coming to assets at some point. But it's a really interesting park that services a very specific area of the community, which is the kind of forest area. Moving on, registration for the Love Parks Week initiative. Anyone got anything they want to say on that? I didn't know it existed.
It does exist.
Yeah, so I found out. Anyone got anything they want to say on Love Parks initiative? Other than Love Our Parks?
Sorry, I mean, it has taken place, has it?
It has.
So it was between 25th and the 7th of August.
It was.
So
What did we do?
what did we do?
It was. So it was more about, I think it was,
I'll do my screen, so I've got it. Or is it something that we're looking at doing next year?
no, it was something that our previous community development officer was working on.
Okay,
I would probably suggest there is absolutely more we can do for that next year. And I would, by looking at, saying that might have slipped through the net slightly.
okay, that's fine. I missed if it has. If they've been done, I'm sorry.
It'd be very interesting, I think, with the Love Parks Week would be maybe got some of our community groups involved in doing something for Love Park Week, you know, Bloomers, Green Space, the multitude of other community groups that we have that are green fingered.
It looks a lovely initiative.
Could we do some stuff with Craig maybe? I mean, we don't have a bandstand, but he's basically built one, so we could get some dance groups and stuff.
Oh. That's nice.
Craig showed you a nice little wooden pavilion.
Could put one up
With
with
the Pat bandstand.
when I'm on holiday, I take photographs of other people's bandstands. Show you them all if you like.
Promotion of community events. Anyone got anything you want to say on this?
I have.
Essentially, we've been to a number of events. I would like to see that expanded. So, you know, maybe, I don't know, 50 events, 100 events, 150 events, 100 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 events, 1 as we move forward?
What I would say to you is the team, because we're doing the resident survey at the moment, the team are attending tomorrow's Tuesday market. We're at the campus doing some outreach there. We've got the makers market they're attending. So we're starting to pick up the momentum of the community development team out and about talking and hearing to residents. So I think 2026 is going to be an exceptionally busy year.
Obviously, nice to hear that the resident survey is going out as well. So for anyone who's listening who isn't aware, we have a resident survey. It was done at the Food and Room Festival. They've also been out and done it in other locations. It's also online. Council can of course fill it in as well, but it's for the residents to feed into whatever the corporate strategy may end up being, which of course the councillors will talk about and decide upon on the 11th of October. And then it will go to full council for ratification. But Meryl up there, the mayor's in the room. Got anything?
Been everywhere.
Tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, no, it's been fantastic.
Your favourite event that you've attended?
Oh, that's not fair. Can't do that. That's not fair. No, it's been brilliant. It's been fantastic. I've met some amazing people. Really lucky to have my two charities and get to visit them as well. So yeah, just getting stuck into doing as much as I can.
Do you know what's been really nice is to see how much you've included your cadet, your
Yeah.
Merrill cadet. I think it's been really nice to see your Merrill cadet with you a lot as well, and to really kind of bring along that the youth, as you say.
Yeah.
It's great as well.
It's brilliant. There's more people in Melksham than anybody else.
Everyone, carnival, everyone was screaming for him. And we
Literally knows everybody.
it was amazing.
But yeah, no, I think it's been really, really good. Yeah, just and I would just say again, anything in the community, if you want me to visit events, please do get in touch. And yes,
You judged some lovely marrows yesterday.
I didn't judge them. I just gave away.
You just gave away the prizes.
Show marrows.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
that's
Carrots.
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 Carrots. Okay, they'll go massive carrots.
No problem.
No, they go in barrels. They're mentioned.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's bring this back into the room. As lovely as the conversations around carrots are, I believe our CEO, let's see.
Yeah, so the community development team, the Mayor Secretary, has been working for a while about securing a London Marathon place. We can now announce that one of the charities has allowed one of our park run volunteers to come forward, who will be running the London Marathon for the Men's Chosen Charity. We're really pleased. Yeah. So an official announcement for photos and everything will be going out in the next couple of weeks, but something very, very different. And we are having, as you can imagine myself, we are having slightly rounded conversations about how we could do it slightly different for the London Marathon. So I will come back to you. No, not this year. Not this year.
Because I don't.
So that's really, really good news.
It's fantastic.
We'll all be there to support. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, not in person, but on watching it on TV. Yeah. Maybe in person. You never know. Take a council bus up. I've lost my place. I apologise, everybody. Merrill updates, Merrill charity visits, communications.
So-
See this one.
I can. We welcome Dominic Rutherford, who started with us a week Monday, who's now doing all of our communications for the town council, and that is communications internally and externally. His role will also be taking over all the communications and marketing for our venues in its entirety, including the Assembly Hall, so we can start really working on the council's position, how we connect with our residents and how we get our messages across in here. So we are working to start off with our internal communications, because that's really important. But you shall see quite a lot of changes happening over the next few months.
Great. Anything from anyone else?
That's still really good news, isn't it?
Yeah, I think there's some really great progress being made. Melksham devises business.
Do you want me to talk to that? Because I know.
Really, we want to. We read it.
Basically, Brian Matthew, our MP, was looking to set up a Melksham Advisors business network. So it's obviously just trying to get that engagement between different businesses in both towns. Yeah, whole business network events, which I will be going to.
If anybody knows of any businesses that might be interested in attending, please do contact our office.
Yeah, and we've registered to be involved as Melksham Town Council
Fabulous.
in terms of being there and networking as well, and offered to host any future events at the Town Council offices as well.
Do we have a date for the first?
Nothing's been confirmed yet.
That's great. Fabulous. My favourite, proms in the park. Anyone seen the weather forecast for this weekend?
Yeah.
It turned nice today. But it was
Is it?
it's been different every day for the last many days.
I'm keeping a close eye on it, shall I say? Oh gosh, didn't want to turn that on and look at that. For those of you who may or may not know, the weather keeps changing. It being looking all right.
In the evening, yeah.
Fair enough.
Right.
Obviously, proms in the park. Any updates that you need to make on this?
So the only updates really is it's going to run as per last year. The only difference that we've got is we've got a combination of food and drink vendors attending. We're encouraging residents to bring blankets and their own seats and just really have a good time. One of the things that we're looking at is getting feedback from the event because it is the second year of it running. So we want to make sure that we can hear anybody that is attending. So the community development team are in attendance and our amenities managers and leaders going to be on hand as well. The police are aware that it's happening as well. So all partners have been involved to date. So and we really want to promote our residents attending, having a drink and filling out the survey.
My only bit of advice to everybody is remember September gets really cold once the sun goes down.
Yeah.
And I seem to recall last year lots of people getting very chilly. I'm not looking in any particular direction.
I'm happy to say this year, I will be putting on a pair of socks and boots and blankets because the cold gets to you by 9:15, and obviously Will Britannia isn't until 5 to 10. It's quite a long time from that. So if we can put any advice out to our residents is come prepared for the turn in temperature. But it's a fabulous event.
Dry road.
Okay.
Dry road. Okay. Reaching first.
Can we just check the lights in the park?
Yeah.
There was a comment that some of the lights, not the bright lights around the park.
Bulbs blown.
So obviously if we're getting on with it.
Good shout.
I did suggest people reported it on the reported thing. On the reported. They did. Even better.
Lovely panel.
Just to confirm, there will be some seating, as in hay bales or something for those. No, at all. Okay.
Bring your own this
Just
year.
wanted to make sure that I wasn't passing on duck info.
Yeah, no, bring your own. We had some feedback, regarding hay bales last year in terms of they are fine unless it rains and So, and actually what I would also say is they're really expensive to get in for one event and then have to try and find something to do with them afterwards if they get damaged. So we're going to see how it goes with picnic benches. We are looking in the future about possibly purchasing deck chairs that we can use for multiple events. But as you can appreciate, Ian's 2 weeks in, so it will be something that we've spoken about having. Yeah, but we've spoken about having branded deck chairs which we could use at summer holidays, up at the splash pad and all sorts of community events. So that's the long-term plan.
Anyone got anything else in prompts in the park?
No, so if you bought hay bales and I'll buy them off you.
Now we know.
And the other option is that people with pets often want hay. People could just come and buy a broken hay bale from you at the town hall, couldn't they?
They've got brokers all of a sudden.
Why not?
So
We're happy to consider
Next year, it's going to go for the.
it's probably strong.
You want to be more corporate, we can be corporate with hay bales.
It's corporate, and then Melksham Town Council have decided to go down. They're becoming hay sales. Right, moving on. Remember, it's 2025. Anything on this? So just so people know, because obviously we've had quite a big changeover, we are making no significant changes to any of our events taking place this year. However, I think when we get to possibly even the December Condev meeting, because that will be after both of our two big events, what might be quite nice is for us to have an open discussion around what we would like to look at doing the following year for both Remembrance and Christmas. Obviously, budgets will probably be set by then.
Mhm.
So it's kind of trying to work out if this is where it's a bit difficult. I'm happy to sort of have the conversation now, but I think, you know, the reality is nothing is changing this year for the two major events that we hold at the end of the year.
Well, in relation to Christmas events, earlier in the year, I did approach the previous ComDev person about reinstating the Christmas boxes.
Operating Christmas
So
tree.
is that going to happen?
It is happening, yeah, we've had,
There's no mention of it on the.
we've had it was because you'd already done a resolution in the last council meeting, already done, we had a couple of our meetings, they didn't we, about Christmas. Yes, and we'll be promoting
So it
that.
was still happening.
Operation Christmas Child.
Yes.
So just remembrance 2025, anyone got anything they'd like to maybe bring forward that we could look at for a budget change for next year?
Not so much stuff for budget change, just more I think about the transitioning from up here down to coming square, to coming back. Those kind of bits, because we've done a few different, the 4 times I've got 3 times been to Remembrance, each one has been slightly different, and I think it's just maybe something just to think about how the first year I did it, we walked down with everybody from here.
Mhm.
Then the next year we went down in advance and they came down. So I don't know.
You're not the parade.
No, we did the first year.
Slightly paraded last year. Obviously, you weren't there last year. It was slightly paraded last year, and it for me, we're not the people that
No.
are important on that day.
There you go.
The vets are the important on that day, and the serving military personnel are what are the people that are important on that day. It's not us. Pat, I will come to you in 2 seconds. One thing that was mentioned to me by another member who doesn't sit on this committee, but I actually thought was really nice. Obviously, it would mean a donation from personal councillors, but a wreath for all the different wards. Every ward lays a wreath as well, and I thought that was quite a nice. I will give Councillor Stokes all credit on that one. That was hers, and I thought that was very nice. And then we did briefly touch on it, and we tried doing it one year, but we never quite got round to it. I know in previous years, instead of giving out coffee and cake, they've given out soup and a roll when we go back to the Assembly Hall. And I just think, you know, on a wet, cold day, it's quite nice to be given soup when you arrive outside. Now, the reason we didn't do it last year, we did look at doing it last year, we couldn't get it cheap enough because we came at it a bit late. But knowing that our wonderful officers like a bargain and like to go out hunting for stuff, I would be interested to know what the costings of that would be, because I think it's just a bit different than being given coffee and cake.
Okay.
Unless anyone's overly against it. Pat did want to come in.
Yeah, whilst I agree with you, it is the vets that are the important people. When Peter Dauncey was the town crier, he marshalled us all quite strictly in a nice parade, which I think is an important part because it shows that we're respecting what's going on. So I mean, I don't know if I can't remember what happened last year, but it wasn't quite as well organised. But then it was a new town crier, so maybe he just needs a bit of time to get himself sorted out. But anyway. But I do think we ought to march down as a town council down there. I mean, coming back in order to be back here for the slew is a bit different because it's all a bit of a rush at the end of all the wreaths going up to the cenotaph, and people do slip away in order to get back up here in time for that. But I do think that going down to the church as a mass is important.
Okay, we've got because we've got new staff tomorrow, we've got a big meeting, on Wednesday regarding remembrance, so we will come up and discuss everything that you said. The one thing that we are doing definitely is we've got a wreath that's going on the train to London this year, which you didn't have last year, to be put at the cenotaph there, so we'll take on board.
The one to Paddington.
Yeah, so we'll take on board on what you said and we can have a discussion about that on Wednesday.
Sorry, yeah, my apologies.
Even more tomorrow. Yeah, because we do need to say a brief are we going to do that? So we weren't in this position last November, obviously.
Would it be more appropriate to lay something on that week on the 11th?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a Tuesday.
speak to Trevor Paston. So can we make sure we contact Royal British Legion about what works for them as well? I'm obviously more than happy to take time out work to come.
Thank you.
And obviously speak to, because there are people at the Avon
Yeah.
who are obviously who did that every year. So I think making sure that they're included is really important. And obviously the veterans. We've done that. Anything else on remembrance? No. So Christmas light switch on. I think the one big thing to note on the Christmas light switch on, I hope everyone noticed it, is that we are obviously looking for stalls, and we'll talk about that in a moment. The grotto, which there was a bit of a we're not quite sure what we're going to do with it. We've decided, or the officers have decided to keep it in house this year. The reason for that is just because it got a bit confusing on what was happening, and I think to keep it we want to keep everything pretty much as it was last year. If we could get better weather though, that'd be quite helpful.
That'd be great. And I think that the officer's recommendation around that was because we're in a different position. You've got a whole new council team that's not done a Christmas here before. So it's really important that we understand what Christmas is like to them, for the community development officer with his team to put the best recommendations forward coming to council for the year after.
Anyone got anything they want to add to Christmas light switch on?
How are we nominating the switching on person?
It's normally you normally the mayor gets to choose.
So, but we're going to invite people to apply.
I would suggest that you've got two options. You can either do Christmas lights, make it local, get people to apply, and then a panel of 3, mayor and a couple of others to make that decision. Or your other option is to go for something different and see if we can maybe get somebody that's doing the Panto or the Theatre Royal, etc. It depends whether you like a local.
I want local, I'd like to actually get people to apply and then.
So I would suggest we do an application forward.
I like it didn't actually happen last year because it's all kicked off on Facebook, but the kids doing an entry, like a colouring sort of thing, like a design like they did last year. But actually the mayor have she hasn't got them, so to actually pick it themselves, the winner.
Yeah.
Rather than letting a Facebook wall go on, but I did like all hell kicked off.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's Christmas card. Yeah.
The mayor's Christmas card.
Christmas card. Winner in charge gets to turn the Christmas lights on.
I absolutely, my recommendation would be, I love the idea of a young person's Christmas card, and the right thing would be just for the mayor. This year.
Yeah.
Rather than it.
If the money meeting's always hard.
Can I request then that we do applications for people within the community to switch lights on, and absolutely, yeah, Christmas card would be.
Do you want the winner of the Christmas card to be the person who turns the light, or do you want actually someone?
Because they've already got the honour of the Christmas card.
Yeah.
So I think actually everybody step of it, because you may find, like we had with Sarah last year,
Sometimes, yeah.
different talents.
It's nice to spread around and just
Yeah.
give them all back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you get them all to decide a way of turning the lights on?
What? What do you mean?
Usually it's got-
Oh, I was like, press a button.
It's boring. People are very boring. I want to see some abstract ideas on how they'll connect two wires.
Off you go then.
Right.
I don't think you have to take that seriously. That's fine. Train line around the town. So he's talking dominoes.
Radio control car.
Oh, smashes into something which they
Aeroplane that comes in. Or...
Or Santa's right, something.
Now we're talking.
Okay, let's bring this back.
One thing that we've learned from last year that we will be doing this year, and we would like to thank the Melksham News for that, was the live broadcast.
Yeah.
For residents that can't get to the town, I think it allows them to feel involved. So we will do that no matter the
Can
weather
we
is.
ask the Melksham News to do it though, or are we doing it?
No, we will ask the Melksham News to be involved. We have discussions.
Great, because I think they did do a very, very good job.
And the only other thing that came out of today's meeting was the councillors that did such a wonderful job last year of setting up the grotto. Wondering if you would like to be involved to support the team.
Do you still have my wonderful fireplace?
Probably not Councillor Westbrook, it means blue petering it again, but
Oh,
it would help the officers out with all the work. that they
we
have.
did do a fantastic. We did have a great time doing that. In all cases,
We had a whole forest of Christmas trees.
Oh, yeah.
it was wonderful.
The Mrs Clark's saying it may well be in the loft, so if you could support that week, the officers would be very.
Have we made a decision on when it's going to be?
We would like it to be in the marketplace, meeting place, the team are going to be starting that.
Wonderful.
Oh, Jenny, we've got loads of come up ideas.
Okay, brilliant.
Thank you very much.
My dog looked fabulous in her Christmas cards anyway. Lovely. Sponsorship opportunities. Everyone had a look at sponsorship opportunities.
Yeah, just say that the communication officer is going to start working on opportunities for local business to be involved.
I really like it.
All the businesses involved in that.
Grant applications. The grant applications have been submitted to the Wiltshire Council Household Support Fund for the installation of a free-to-access water refill station at King George V playing field. I was really happy when I read that. I think it's really important. You looking at my screen? I was very, very happy to read that. Anything from anybody else about that? No?
Good idea.
Sounds like a good one to me.
Every playground had one when I was a kid. I don't know what happened to them all.
I think you weren't allowed to put your mouth on it anymore after COVID.
Well, yeah, they're all died, isn't it?
You were never supposed to do that, Jenny.
So the K6 telephone boxes, does everyone know what the K6 telephone boxes are? Because I realise it's a bit of a strange name for them, but for anyone who may not know, it's the red telephone boxes, the traditional red ones. We now have two that we will be moving somewhere to do something. I have heard, frankly, my favourite idea for what I'd like to go into them, but they just, everyone's aware now, it's actually a really arduous job to get the boxes removed because only BT can kind of do things, commission things, which means you have to wait for BT
Weigh about a ton.
to do it. So one has been, the one down at the Big Whistle.
So the one down, both have taken 9 months to be disconnected. I got the comms 2 weeks ago to say that that had been done. The transport company that will collect, take away, completely refurbish and bring back has been instructed and asked for a date. The one at the Pig and Whistle is in a very bad state of repairs. We've actually got the door at the lockup. So they need to be going quite quickly. What I've suggested is the company keep them until the spring and then bring them back when they're done rather than try and put them out in the winter months as well.
But what I would like is for us to have great discussions around what is going to go into them when they're moved. So everyone knows the idea is that they're moved into the marketplace. That is not set in stone. That's the idea that we would like for it to be moved to the marketplace. However, if this committee decides that they'd like them to move them somewhere else, we are very much open to that. We wanted to make some sort of feature of them. As I said, I have had my all-time favourite idea, which I will share here, which was from the wonderful Ian, who said one of them should be a fish tank, and I'm so here for it.
Fish tank.
A fish tank is a genius idea.
You did spec it at Westbury.
Real
He's
fish.
got my ideas. for it.
Who's going to feed the fish? It's got an auto feeder. Obviously, it's genius.
But what if it did freezing for fishes?
Sorry?
What if it freezes for fishes?
In winter.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's all been thought about. Let's move on.
Can I just,
We'll bring this back to the next context so that we can actually have a proper discussion about
Can I
it.
just reaffirm, if there are any animals involved, the community development officer will go through the right process of welfare of animals. Put that on record.
I just enjoyed it. I thought it was different.
Yeah.
And we could become the town with the fish tank.
Yeah.
Anyway, lovely. Moving on.
Goldfish bowl.
We do. Meta. So moving on to park yoga. Obviously, have they had their final session?
No, they've got the final session coming up this week, and we'll also then, that's why you haven't got all the data of all the numbers in. So we'll be reviewing that project in its entirety, have a conversation with Wiltshire Swim and Sports Partnership, and then bringing that.
And will that come for a decision in December?
Correct.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Obviously, it is a very well liked, pretty well attended free yoga session, which really does get a lot of love. So
Do we have a back, or not a backup, but do we have a way of potentially keeping that going in the winter?
not in the park because
No.
it's cold and wet.
Yeah.
The project's actually only funded till mid-September. So if we were looking at wanting to continue that as a council, we would have to look at where that funding comes from. What normally happens with Park Yoga is it's a national charities, they encourage people to go outdoors, like you say, with us. And then in the winter months, either try and do it through exit routes, that's either local yoga teachers that have got something on, or into the sports centres, if need be. If it's something that you want to look at doing going forward, we can absolutely have a look if that, bring that proposal back to council.
I mean, I can offer a small space, but it can only hold 15. But I don't know if we could look at something like the Riverside or something that's very close to the park. If it's dry, they can continue outside. If they can't, you make it.
Probably a lot of these places are used on weekends.
Well,
They have to.
guides is potential, but I am doing some. I'm trying to work out for which council at the moment who owns what with the guide sites they could use.
Just on, could someone just check the maths on the Park Yoga one?
As in the average. Adrienne.
Yeah, I think the thing about Park Yoga is it's celebrating parks as well as yoga, and it celebrates our King George playing fields. I think that is really important. And I think although, you know, it's really important for people to go and do yoga at other times as well, I think it diminishes the whole idea of park yoga. I really do. I think I think it is really important that we celebrate King George. This celebrates King George V, the beautiful aspect that's down there in order to do an outdoor activity. And I think outdoor activities are something which we as a nation need to embrace more. So it's not that I'm against what you're saying, Lisa. It's a different scheme you're looking at.
No, I'm looking at it from purely a case of these people are obviously getting 60 people to go out and want to do it is really good. All I'm looking at it, I want to keep those people doing it. And if they drop off, obviously, yes, we want to keep it in the park as much as possible. And like I say, it is park yoga, park run, and all this sort of stuff. But I'd rather those people kept doing it, and then as soon as it's spring and it's sunny again, then they go back outside, rather than they have to it's like restarting it every summer or every spring. I don't know how many, obviously those June numbers are, but I mean June 1st, I don't know if that's an error, but there's 0. I don't know what happened there, but didn't run. But if it was,
Yeah, 65.
did it go, was the first couple of sessions like 10, 20, 30, and then it's
No,
average?
so because it was the second year of it, people kind of knew it was coming. We did get last year, we actually got over 100 in some of our sessions, and it does go up during July and August because obviously just.
And what we've changed on Park Yoga this year, the year before I arrived, it was done independently. So the council had procured Park Yoga separately. What we've done this year is joined the rest of West Wiltshire and linked with Wiltshire Sports Partnership. So you actually get more correspondence, you get more networking. They grant funded some of it this year. So it's become a bit of a partnership of sustainability, really.
I don't think it's a bad idea to look at what the options might be. It might be that it's not feasible, but it's worth having a look at. See if we can explore doing it outside of the park yoga times. So final agenda item is the Melksham gardening competition. The trophies were given wonderfully. I can't really speak, however, on the Melksham gardening competition as I was not available.
What I can say on the Melksham gardening competition is there was lots of feedback provided. There was lots of lessons to be learned from it, which the team have taken on board and started to think about how can they implement that for next year to make the gardening competition or any competitions that we do with businesses and residents and community groups smoother, more communication, being more transparent. So there was lessons to be learned from it. I would celebrate success. A lot of people entered, their gardens were beautiful. And the officers worked hard to put it all together.
Any of the councillors who went, got anything to go?
I did quite a bit of feedback.
Yeah.
To Brown, and that's fine. I was concerned that we did have a winner for the impact force. Now, I don't know how people feel about this. It's always been Melksham Town, Melksham Lab. It's a Melksham gardening competition. I've got view, they're just personal views actually, and if the council decided that we should be going out as far as that was, I'm sure, and I think we have to actually embrace that and work with those councils as well, which is absolutely fine. But I think it just worries me how far out should we be looking at that it should be Melksham Town, Melksham that, or are we going to go further afield? It's just something which I think needs to be discussed.
I would say with you, they need to be a ward of Melksham and Melksham back.
Yeah, I would agree. I think if I would say Melksham Area Board is the area, but actually possibly just Melksham without and Melksham Town, actually not Melksham Area Board. I take it back.
There needs to be a rule, that's all.
I'm sad for you coming because I've got my view on this, but I just want to hear what you've got to say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking back from just previous experience of having been quite heavily involved with the judging and things like that. I think this is the first time that's ever been any participation.
I think it is, I agree.
Yeah, I could certainly, every time I've judged, and I've judged pretty much every year since been a councillor, and I've never had anything that's been outside of Melksham Town. Personally, I still think it should be a Melksham out.
I think if
Otherwise, if you're going to invite Sean Atworth, then you've got Whitley, then you've got the other parts of Melksham without. There's lots.
well, of course, sure, but they are technically Melksham without.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
So Shaw, Whitley, Beanacre, if you're doing Melksham without, they have to obviously be included in it, which is fine. I would say, and forgive me because I didn't judge, do we invite Melksham without councillors to also be judges?
I'd like to see that.
And do you then contribute any funding towards it as well? And I'm not necessarily saying officer time, because I'm aware that they're also at capacity as well. But I think, I'm a big believer that Melksham expands beyond the town, and particularly Bower Hill, Berryfields. They're very much part of the town's makeup.
There's lots now.
And this isn't me making any political statement. It's me saying, I think we are now a town where our major school sits at Melksham without. Our divisions are becoming much more crossed. And I think, if we're going to start doing more of these things where both councils are involved in it, both councils need to be involved in it. I was going to call you Council Mum then, Adrienne.
It's always been Melksham Town and Melksham without. It was, I noticed the person from that one this year because it jumped out at me because it wasn't Melksham Town. In fairness to the officer who was organising this, I mean, she had virtually no notice that she was going to organise it, which is why it was, one of those things that happened, which is why I gave quite detailed feedback. But I think, if we're going to have a rule, Melksham Town, Melksham without, that's absolutely fine. I'm happy with that, and I totally agree that Melksham without parish councillors ought to be invited to
at the very least
to come and judge. And I don't know what the costings are, Hayley, because it's not this time anything else.
Yeah, and I can have a look at those figures. I think the one thing about the gardening competition, it fits very lovely into your neighbourhood plan in terms of wanting to celebrate environmental and in many ways getting people out doing their own garden. From my point of view, is also encouraging them to be active and be with nature. So lessons to be learned. Happy to take that on board. We can have a conversation with Melksham without as well.
Yeah, I mean, even if to begin with, it's just getting them involved in the judging and getting their chair to also be part of the prize giving as well, so that it is a real joint venture between the two councils would be lovely. Because I think we do cross more than we've ever done before, and that's just a statement of I think it would be nice to include everyone. Anyone got anything else they'd like to say about the garden competition? Oh, my apologies, Julie.
That's right. These are the flowers we're talking about, not the carrots.
Yeah. Society, this is a garden.
This is the gardening competition that the prizes were given out at the Food and River Festival. They are
The flowers.
Yeah, so it's people's gardens, there's schools gardens, which, you know, I think actually if we're able to promote the school side of things more as well, because I think one school entered, so I think, you know, getting all the schools involved is lovely. I will come to you in 2 seconds. Getting, you know, it's front gardens and back gardens and small gardens, and actually I've seen here one of the categories that we could look for consideration is best residential street. I mean, we ever gave prizes out for Christmas lights, this town would be awash with it, because, you know, we've got some incredible streets who really do go all out. And
But I think that's where some confusion came in with between the business and the streets.
Yeah.
Because they were mixed in as one and it didn't make anything clear.
guidance is.
Please, can we have a tool list for sunflower?
We used to do that, it has to be done at a different time, of course,
Yes.
because you actually can't do that until middle to end of August, whereas the judging takes place in July, but they were two separate but linked competitions.
So could we buy a bag of sunflower seeds and send them to all the schools?
It used to be my favourite thing.
I mean, it's not, it wouldn't be that expensive.
We could have a
Give every
competition.
kid a sunflower seed
Yeah.
and then judge it.
I like that idea, sending out.
We probably need a resolution in order for us to do that.
How much is the bag of
I was
sunflowers?
gonna say, I'll buy it.
Why don't we, I'll tell you what, we'll go away and as officers, everybody can quote it up and bring it back to the December meeting.
It's only because it's spending budget, even if it's only £2.50.
You could call it.
Sometimes.
Some snacks sponsor this.
Recycle house with me.
You do the story while I'll do the thing.
Okay, Pat. Just to summarise, the garden show has been more inclusive and has had more items in past ones, you know, the town garden show. But in fairness, it didn't happen this year because of various things, but I'm sure that next year it'll be back up to the same measure, standard, whatever.
Could I ask that at December's meeting, we just have a look over the categories
Yeah.
and make decisions on any categories we'd like to remove or any categories we'd like to keep in or adjust slightly. That being said about December's meeting,
Maybe it's something we can also just put a social media out saying, asking residents, is there a category you think we're missing? Just let's get some feedback from the community.
Because I think we walked around looking at places and thinking,
Know where they were.
we didn't even know where half the places were, so, or places that
so
didn't have
actually
anything.
having things like a what 3 words for each garden would be really helpful, or even just to the front door would be quite helpful.
Or some incident didn't have a garden.
Interesting. Can I just suggest that we look at gardening competitions of previous years and see what was done there and when and how it was done, because there are lots of things that didn't appear on the list this year. Lots of things. And that meant, yeah, I know, it wasn't their fault. No, it wasn't. But it's just that, you know, we can refer to the more successful ones in the past and see what we can do next year. I'm looking forward to it.
Lovely. I'm aware that we've just asked for an awful lot of stuff to come to our December meeting. I'm also aware December is grants. There is a suggestion that we potentially move the grants meeting to 6 p.m. So we do grants from 6 till 7, and then the ComDev meeting from 7 till whatever it ends.
Why not?
It's a suggestion that I'm putting forward. If we're all possibly in favour of that, I think it works well for us being able to make sure that we give grants the dedicated time that it needs and the dedicated time that it needs.
I don't get it.
Oh, it must be the 8th of December because I go away on the 10th.
Yes, it is. I've got it.
Yeah.
I think Grenada.
Beware.
Grenada.
Okay, tomorrow till Wednesday.
Well, 7th.
Um,
Sorry.
Bring my back last. Lovely. So if that's it's a recommendation from council. Obviously, I'm aware that it has to ensure that officers are able to do that and to facilitate it. But if you could potentially go in and look into whether or not that's feasible.
It's not an issue for us and it would make more sense.
I just think it needs-
December meeting is going to be very busy.
Yeah, I just think, you know, and obviously at the December meeting, just so councillors are aware who haven't been on this before, we often take quite a deep dive into remembrance and Christmas. Last year, obviously, Christmas didn't last so long because most of it was it was windy. But it's usually quite an in-depth meeting. I'll even bring us mince. There we go.
I want one, I'll bring that.
Oh, really? Is the problem.
Have with apple juice.
That's fine. If we can make it a recommendation to full council. But the officers are happy with that birth, but if yes. When is the next full council? It's October.
Middle of October,
Yeah.
so second Monday, I think it is.
Pardon? It's the Monday you're back. It must be about the 13th. That's fine. Lovely. Not what you said, my fancy for that one. Anyone got anything else to add on the Melksham gardening competition? No? Lovely. Well, in that case, draw this meeting to a close. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you everyone who's come online. Thank you all.
How many kilos you buy?
20 kilos is £100.
I don't think we need 20 kilos.
I don't know how many seeds.
20 kilos. That would be how many thousands?
It was telling me to sow at 40 kilos per acre, so.